Hi everyone, welcome to Hindsight. So, in today's video, I'm going to share some key points that I think judging personality types can learn from perceiving types, especially turbulent judging types. As a judging type, I have learned these things from my personal experience, from observing my friends who are perceiving types, and from words of wisdom from more matured judging types. All these key points are interrelated. And I think before I go into my video that if you do not understand the Myers-Briggs personality type indicator, you might be wondering what the hell I am talking about. Unfortunately, I am unable to go into detail about it because I have so much work to do. And honestly, right now, I just need to make a video, and you might find me looking down. That's because I have my tablet with me and I have written down all the points that I want to share. Yes, as a judging type. Um, so, in brief, right, I'm going to say that there are 16 personality types according to Myers-Briggs, and there's so much information online about it. I think there are many videos on YouTube as well to discuss the different personality types. Today, I'm going to be talking about the judging and perceiving aspects of each personality type. Amongst the many characteristics that the different personality types share, um, every personality type is either a perceiving or judging type in terms of how they actually approach life. I would personally summarize that perceiving types are more flexible in how they approach life, whilst judging types are more structured and organized in how they approach life. And you might actually understand a little better the more or the further I go along in this video, or you might as well just pause now, and then when you're more versed about the Myers-Briggs different personality types and what it means, you can always come back and watch this video. So first things first, I think much of the things that I'm going to share right now goes without saying that as human beings we all need some form of predictability in this chaotic world. So we adopt some habits and practices that give us some sense of control in how things happen in our life or how things just play out in general. And for judging types, I think one way of achieving this is by being able to plan and structure and organize our lives. However, we find that life isn't always fair. Life never always works the way you plans out or works out the way you want it to or you prefer it to. And plans can change, anything can happen. So as we grow older, we learn to adjust our behaviors to the environment, and we seek out balance. We try to minimize that need to control and structure our lives and learn to leave some things to chance. Okay. First point I have here is that as a judging type, you don't always have to need to plan everything and all things that you do, okay? But I don't think it's perfectly fine either to leave everything to chance. You need some level of planning in your life, okay? But I'm saying that the key is balance. Just consider being more receptive to failures, to disappointments, and things not always working the way you prefer or you planned it to. Because honestly, let's face it, you never know what's going to happen in your life. Anything can just happen by chance that might disrupt your plans. But don't be too tough on yourself, okay? Let go of that anxiety that comes with, things not working out the way you want it to, especially turbulent types. It's always this struggle and this anxiety, like, oh my god, what if things don't work out this way, and you just panic all the time. Just let go. Honestly, life isn't always straightforward. And the second point I have is just learn to be spontaneous. And it goes with always not planning everything that goes on with your life, how you spend every hour of your time. Being rigid definitely feels safe as a judging type. And because it's a comfort zone, obviously, but you miss out on some of in life's best experiences, because honestly, I think some of life's best experiences happen spontaneously when you do not plan them. And I think extroverted judging types are better than introverted judging types in being more spontaneous in general and in all these key points that I'm sharing. But I don't know if it's true, but that is what I've observed in general. And then the third point I have is to learn to multitask. There might be some important exceptions to this, but I think there's always no need to finish working on one project before moving on to another one. You can always multitask at the same time. And by this, I mean you just learn to be more flexible in how you approach your life, work, and especially just like your responsibilities and duties in general. It's okay to do a bit of everything incrementally, and you find that over time you get more things done. And moreover, I think setting your mind to finishing one particular task within a particular time frame in a long stretch can actually be counterproductive and even worse, disappointing, especially when you fail to meet that deadline. This has happened to me countless times in my life, but I have learned through experience that it's okay if things don't work out the way I want them, and it's okay to multitask. I find that doing one task and then taking a break to do another task in general is just more productive for me, and it's less mentally stressful for me too. I think in the very least, just remember to take a break. Remember to take a break and then come back and finish whatever you have to do. You don't have to sit down there and just finish it all at a time, okay? And I honestly doubt that human beings are naturally wired that way, to focus on doing one thing in a long stretch. I think even some of us are better than others in terms of being able to focus for a very long time. I don't think that's the way we are meant to live our lives as human beings. I don't think so. But that's just my personal opinion on that. And lastly, I think remember that there's always a room for improvement. Judging types, remember that there's always a room for improvement. You don't have to be set in your ways. Be more willing to be open minded to trying other methods of achieving or completing a particular task. No matter how much or how long your method has worked for you, there are always multiple ways of achieving the same thing or different things. You need to always keep that in mind. It's also okay if your old method of doing things doesn't work, if it fails. Just remember that there's always a better way, or even a better way of doing that same thing. It could be as simple as the way you cook your meal. There are multiple ways of cooking that same meal, and perhaps better ways and more efficient ways of cooking that meal. I call it the trial and error method. Just keep experimenting with the trial and error method. That is the way you learn how to do things differently. And you might just go online, search online, how do you do this, how do you do this. Always multiple ways of doing the same thing, and if not different things. Life isn't always that serious, okay? Just know that your grandma's way of cooking a meal might not be the best way. There are different, better, and more efficient ways of cooking that meal, okay? You don't need to be stuck with that. At this point, I'm going to end my video. I just hope that you have found the key points I have shared useful in some way. I don't have so much time. This video might feel rushed. It actually feels rushed to me, but I need to go. I hope you consider liking and sharing and commenting if you have similar experiences. And also, if you care, consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell for future uploads. And I will see you in the next one.